Good morning, I'm Cris Anderson, the principal here at Kennedy Elementary. Welcome to our school. We're so happy to have you be part of this morning's celebration. Typically we have our preschoolers be part of this, but today being the 20th year celebration of our early childhood programs, we wanted to include our alumni as well as our current students to be part of this great day. And to start us off, got a few more guests coming. We typically end with an entertainment of our children at the very end of our ceremony, but we are going to do it a little different, and we're going to start off this morning's celebration recognizing Mr. Dan, recognizing Linda from the library at DCCDA. We are going to start off having my staff, my early childhood staff, come on up here. These were the folks that made our hard work come true, were the teachers. We've been so blessed to have a long history with our staff, and who better off to start us off by singing a special song to you, Mr. Dan. So this is dedicated to you, but it's also dedicated to all of those who have been such strong supporters of our work, because without all of you, we would not be here today.
La
favorite songs, and it is You Are My Sunshine.
Good morning. Well, that certainly warmed my heart. I don't know about you, but it's a hard act to follow, and I won't be up here singing and entertaining you in that fashion. So bear with me as I share a few words about some history about our early childhood program and what brings us here today. Can't think of a better way to start my morning. Certainly, I always enjoy the opportunity to be in front of our kids and then on top of that, get to see our teachers perform. They're very talented. So that we appreciate all the work and dedication they put into the program also. So welcome to Kennedy School. I'm Kyle Hayden. I'm the superintendent of schools here. It's my first year as superintendent. I was 5 years as an assistant superintendent prior to this. My pleasure to be here with you this morning. It's especially rewarding to see a lot of former staff here, a lot of people obviously that have had a tremendous impact on the early childhood program, both past and present. I want to share my personal thanks to Mr. Dann. I appreciate you being here today and for your generosity in supporting the program, and for especially those families who couldn't afford this opportunity to be part of early childhood programs. So thank you so much. Thanks also to the Lawrence Schools Foundation and what they do to organize that, their generation with managing and the private donations and the grants that help fund this program. The community support for this program is really the lifeblood that makes it happen. And those local fundraising efforts started kind of right here with a lot of people in this room over 20 years ago. So thank you for those contributions if you've been a part of that. It's my understanding that a small group of volunteers who were members of what was then called the Lawrence Business Education Partnership began in 1994 to study a growing concern within our community of serving our younger kids in school readiness, addressing school readiness. Principal Cris Anderson was actually part of that group, and as former superintendent also, Al Azinger was part of that. Former Chamber of Commerce President Gary Tobin, former Business Partnership Director Linda Robinson. A few community members were also involved. I know Hank Booth, I saw Hank earlier this morning. He's doing a live radio show back there. John Taha and Gene Ramp were also among the people that were involved with those original efforts. This group discovered through its research that about 400 preschool age students in this community weren't receiving any kind of early childhood education experience because their families couldn't afford it. I've heard that Hank Booth enjoys sharing a story around the fact that when he joined the business partnership group under the condition that he wouldn't have to do any fundraising. And I believe that fundraising effort started immediately. But they began to really kind of work together, come together to raise money for the early childhood program, and their success led to the first preschool classroom at East Heights Elementary School in 1996. After opening of that first classroom, the Business Education Partnership knew it needed to grow their efforts, so it joined forces with the Lawrence Schools Foundation, and representatives of that group are here tonight, or today, this morning. Taking over the leadership of future fundraising efforts, the foundation really stepped up, established this as one of their goals, supporting high-quality early childhood educational opportunities for at-risk youth. I've been in several conversations throughout this year with our foundation and know how much this program means to them. Through a shared belief that all children should start school ready to learn, through continued community support from the foundation, from Mr. Dann, the Rice Foundation, and many others, Additional preschool classrooms have been added each year, and they were originally going in various classrooms, elementary classrooms around the district where space was available. When the school board made the decision to merge the attendance centers of East Heights Elementary School and New York Elementary School in 2003, that was the beginning of the East Heights Early Childhood Family Center that was created just up the road, not too far from here. Then about 7 years ago, the decision was made to move the early childhood program into Kennedy School. Kennedy's pre-K program welcomes about 150 students each year, and including children from limited English proficiency and from children challenged by specialized needs. They learn to play and grow and learn together, and it's really a special environment. They get healthy, happy, and productive start, and which also serves as a primary foundation for their future success at school. We know that the earlier that we can work with children and families, the better off we are with establishing a strong foundation for their learning. This is especially true when it comes to our responsibility in breaking the cycle of poverty. All students can learn, and all students will learn when we provide them equitable access to high-quality educational services, and this does truly begin in early childhood programs. We know preschool experiences are beneficial to children's cognitive and social development, and parents who are involved in early childhood experience have better attitudes towards their child's schooling. They have higher expectations for their children, and they have greater participation and involvement throughout their child's education. My thanks again to Mr. Dann, also Principal Cris Anderson, and for their legacies of leadership and support that we are here to recognize today. I want to also recognize the Lawrence Schools Foundation and its special honorees here today, Linda Clay and the Douglas County Child Development Association. It's my pleasure now to introduce the president of the Lawrence Schools Foundation Board of Trustees. I know he's happy to not only be serving in that capacity for a year, but even another year following this. So, Mr. Scott Morgan.
Thank you, Kyle, and thank you all for coming out today. This is one of those really fun events. Having done other things in the past that weren't always so fun, I really enjoy the opportunity to come together and celebrate things like this in our community. I appreciate our board members who have come together, and for those of you who are, you kind of hear the school foundation, it presumably does something good. It does many things. In a district as diverse as this one with 10, 11,000 students, so many different levels with so many different needs and so many different funding cuts, we can't be all things to all people, but we have our fingers in lots of places. And I think last year we gave over $350,000 in various scholarships, grants, program support to programs at all these different levels, and that's through the generosity of this community that comes together. We have different events where we raise money, and we're able to supplement things that the state is unwilling or unable to do. And so it's a fun thing that comes together, but our genesis is really here with the early childhood. That's where, as Kyle was explaining, our historical roots come out of. And I think Dina and I, Dina Johnston is our executive director, wave to you. She's the one who does everything. So we really appreciate having her. But we are so grateful for you all to come together. And we wanted to take a moment and thank Chris in particular. I think, I'm not entirely sure of this, I think there's forces of nature are often earth, wind, fire, and Chris. Chris has been here, I think, 7 years, and I think someone told me 38 years in the district, is that right, or at least in education? 38 in the profession and 28 in the district. It seems, it has been many times, and Chris, through her will of her personality and the strength of her intellect, is the one that helped this take root and to grow and to sustain through the efforts of people like Mr. Dann and many others in the community. And that needs to be appreciated, it needs to be acknowledged. These are kids who need all the champions they can get, and Chris has been one of the most dynamic, one of the most consistent, one of the most driven champions that they've had. And so at this time, I think, Dina, Chris, if you could come up, we have a small token of our appreciation, which apparently is a bag of tissues. to wipe away the tears from that emotional speech. But anyway, thanks. Let's thank you.
Mike, so of course I'm going to say something. Again, as I have said many, many times over my years here in Lawrence Public Schools, we would not be able to do what we've done without all of you and without the support of many, many, many collaborative partners. So again, it's been a blessing to come to work every day, and thank you very much.
I'm Dina Johnson. I'm with the foundation, and probably one of my favorite parts about being with the foundation is the incredible people that we get to meet along the way. The community support, the organizations, the businesses, and our generous donors. Mr. Dan has been such an inspiration and such a funny guy. If you've not had an opportunity to sit down and have some conversations and share some stories, he's got quite a few in his back pocket. In fact, many times when we meet, conversations we have, I think the 3 words that he uses a lot to reference himself is rebel, he's a menace, he's ornery. Ornery maybe I might agree with. But I think you should replace those words with hero, because as you saw today with the kids, the alumni, the teachers, and the support, you were such an inspiration and such a hero to so many. So thank you for what you do for Kennedy and for the elementary programs here. As we mentioned, today we celebrate 20 years of his continued generosity. Since 1997, Mr. Dan alone has provided over $850,000 to the early childhood program. $850,000, that's a lot to give and a lot of support. We know your gifts are so critical to this program, and will be forever blessed, and will continue on this program for many, many years to come. So thank you for all that you do for that. We also we have a small token of our appreciation for your 20 years of giving that we would like to present to you as well. Yes.
No, you're fine. We bring it to you, but thank you very much for all that you've done.
Thank you.
All the many kids that you have.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
As many of you know, Mr. Dan chooses to further his gift to the district's preschool program by honoring other individuals for their contributions to our community. Mr. Dan felt that this year's reception would be a wonderful opportunity to honor another community member for her years of dedication to our local youth through her creativity, her imagination, and passion for children. Here today to help us honor Linda Clay as the 2017 Early Childhood Special Honoree is Karen Allen from the Lawrence Public Library.
My name is Karen Allen. I am the Youth Services Coordinator at the Lawrence Public Library, and it's my sincerest pleasure to introduce this year's recipient of the 2017 Early Childhood Special Honoree Award. I'd like to say a few words before we ask Linda up here to accept the award, and I feel like I'm getting a little teary-eyed, so bear with me. Linda Clay is a beloved librarian and storyteller of the Lawrence community. She has been charming the hearts of children and their parents for the past 25 years at the library, and well before that at her church's Sunday school and youth groups. As a storyteller, Linda captures young minds with fantastic tales, magic tricks, songs she's learned by heart, felt stories that have been carefully constructed and taken care of, and inventive and creative crafts and activities that match her storytime themes. She includes early literacy tips, carefully placed in her story times at just the right times for parents to learn something too. She has never stopped learning new ways to make her story time the best it can be, and is continually adding new stories and songs to her repertoire. The love she gives to the community is evident in the love she receives back from our patrons. Not often does a day go by that Linda doesn't have a visitor to the library that is there just to see her. Oftentimes, it's a child that has graduated from story time that wants to come visit. Many times, it's a new parent bringing their own children to see her story times, much like their own parents brought them years before. She's been telling stories so long at the library, she now has storytime grandchildren. Patrons bring Linda gifts, little trinkets, or souvenirs from their vacation. Or homemade baked goods made with love just for her. And being the generous person that she is, Linda always shares her treats, and the youth services staff never has a problem helping her out with that. It's not only young children that benefit from knowing Linda. She's also a helpful coworker and friend to all. She has inspired patrons and colleagues to pursue the career of librarianship and has become second family to many. She helps her colleagues and other community members plan story times for their own young audiences. She has at times been the first real connection to Lawrence for new families in town. Videos of her have been played back on many iPads and phones by non-native families that have found her story time useful in learning how to speak English. She makes sure that therapy dogs that listen to children read at the library always get a treat from her when she works. She is kind and encouraging to parents who love to receive that boost of confidence that they're doing the right thing by instilling the love of reading with their children. The library is not the only place Linda contributes to the community. She has taught Sunday school, vacation Bible school, and the youth group at her church for as long as her daughters can remember. She has played an active role in the community by remembering and honoring the life of Martin Luther King Jr., and she takes time out of her schedule to care for sick friends, make sure they have enough to eat, that their children are well cared for, and gives rides to doctor's appointments. I have only known Linda personally for the last 5 years at the library. Before I started at Lawrence Public, I was a patron of hers when I started bringing my own son to her story times. I was always amazed that she could continue to read and tell stories over the low din of 20 babbling babies and never lose focus or the attention of her parents. I have such little knowledge compared to others who have known Linda for so much longer. I'd like to share with you some of the amazing things that they wanted you to know about Linda. Kathleen Morgan, who's here with us today, she says, "After the first time I met Linda, I was so taken by how genuine and kind she was that I sought out the library director to sing her praises. His response was, 'Oh, you mean Saint Linda?' And that says it all." Jenny Cook, who's also here with us today, says, "Linda is a wonderful and caring co-worker. She is an amazing and accomplished storyteller, and we all love learning from her. She loves the children and families that come into the library. She also loves my son Elliot, which makes both him and I so happy. Linda is the heart of the children's department. We're so lucky to have such a caring and feisty soul at LPL." Lauren's also here with us today. She says, "Well, Linda has been such an inspiration, and she's always willing to lend a hand. She helps me with story time whenever I ask, and she's always willing to help me clean up a program. I'm pretty sure her hugs are magical, and she always knows the right thing to say when you're feeling down or lacking confidence. She's always in your corner and a joy to work with." Darla, who's not with us today, says, "To me, Linda radiates kindness. She instills this to every child that has come through the library, and because of this, these children love the library." Sam, who's here with us today, says, "There are few people in this world that I adore as much as Linda. Her warmth, generosity, kindness, boundless enthusiasm, and passion are what we need more of in this world. I am proud to call Linda my mentor because she is the kind of person I want to be." I also consulted Linda's daughters for some words, and so Leah is here with us today. And she says, "My mom's been teaching Sunday school for as long as I can remember, and I'm 31. Sorry to have you here. "My mom has been a rock star in Lawrence forever. When I was in high school, and even now for that matter, I couldn't go anywhere with my mom without her being recognized or some little kid running up to her. Now I think that is awesome, and I'm so proud to call Linda my mom. My mom really just loves kids and cares so much about helping people. She truly is a God-fearing woman who just tries to live a good life." And her other daughter, Noelle, who couldn't be here today, says, "Along with teaching Sunday school all during our childhood, my mom was in charge of the youth group at our church, the Sunbeams. She's always made sure that kids less fortunate feel specially cared for. She's always encouraged us with whatever we wanted to do. When we started riding horses, she fully supported us and has kept caring for the horses even after we moved away. She's always willing to take kids she meets in the community riding. She also helps at the barn a lot and volunteers her time doing stories and crafts for the annual farm tour at Coal Creek Farms. She is truly one of the best and kindest people I know." Linda might tell you that she didn't seek out to be a storyteller at the library, but was given the task by Mary Paretsky, the head of the Youth Services Department at the time. Mary must have seen what we all see in Linda, a kind-hearted, benevolent soul that cherishes all the children and families of Lawrence. I'm sure you and many Lawrenceans can say they're glad that Mary made the decision she did by hiring Linda and setting her on the path to being an amazing storyteller and librarian. I can think of no better candidate for the 2017 Early Childhood Special Honoree Award. Will you all please join me in recognizing Linda for this achievement?
I know you're disappointed that you don't get the check. No, Linda, I think Karen did such an awesome job of showing, or of explaining. It's just another thread in the fabric of this amazing community that has come together to help kids at all these different levels. And she is a critical thread of that fabric, and a delightful thread of that fabric, as all of us who have had children that have gone through the library have had the good fortune. So on behalf of the Schoools Foundation, we do have plaques. This plaque you do not get to keep. We put it on the honor wall. I think that's what we call that, right? Wall of honor. It says, in honor of Linda Clay for her leadership and support of children and youth in Lawrence, Kansas, and presented at Kennedy School today. And it's got just an awesome picture that captures Linda as your mama, a llama, with a llama over her. You guys need to make sure we'll have it up here. You need to come see it. But that, and then, what's that? Oh, yeah, that's a cute. That's a cute. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the really special one. But no, thank you on behalf of it, and thank you for everything you do. If you want to
Thank you.
say anything.
Yes, I would love to say something. I am so touched. I'm so honored. Oh, thank you so much. First of all, giving all honor to God, who is the joy and head of my life. Thank you so much. So many people. I'm up here. I love the library, and so my library family, most of them are here, and I love you all, and I am just surrounded by awesome people. So it's not me. I feel kind of humbled to be the one up here because we all do an amazing job. And we all know, in the children's department, we realize that children that enter school with pre-reading skills have greatest success. So at the library and in our story times, we seriously try to incorporate the early literacy skills. And we also love working with the early childhood program. I know they come to story time and we love that. But our goal at the library is just to welcome every child and to show them love and to show them the joy of reading. We always challenge every child, come in and we'll find a book for you. If they say they don't want to read, then we'll really hunt and find something. Maybe it's monster trucks or maybe it's superheroes, but we'll find the book for them. I wanted to thank my daughter Leah for being here and my friend Jerry. And the reason I wanted Jerry to be here is her mother started the preschool in Salina, Kansas. And it was the Dr. Martin Luther King preschool in Salina, Kansas. And then Jerry worked for years in the preschool department there in Salina. And I just want to thank everyone. And this is such an honor. And Mr. Dan, thank you so much for all you do. It's amazing. And we'll and the library welcomes, we partner with you, we welcome everyone to come. So thank you, this is such an honor. I really don't, I'm so humble. Thank you so much.
The foundation believes that every child deserves an excellent education and that all children should have a chance to start school ready to learn. The foundation is able to help fund the preschool program here at Kennedy thanks to gifts from private individuals like Mr. Dan, who believe in our mission. Chris is going to introduce next our 2017 Friend of Early Childhood Education.
The tradition that we have when taking a moment to honor Mr. Dan is also to honor Linda, an honoree of early childhood. But a few years ago, we realized that there was many good friends of early childhood, and we started taking an opportunity to also honor a friend of education, of early childhood education. This year's recipient of that Friendship Award is the Douglas County Child Care Development Center, or Association, sorry, DCCDA. Anna, could you and your friends come on up here, please? Your board. So Anna Jennings, Executive Director, and Brandon Zach, the board member. DCCDA has a very long history. When Anna started sharing with me some of the history, I thought, oh my gosh, I I didn't know this, but about 47 years ago, when World War II was ending, all of a sudden there was a need for early childhood. And we I was just out of high school at that point and didn't even think about what was happening, but DCCDA grew into a group of advocacy, of activists to address the need for services for young children and their families. They tried very hard to get city funding and did not succeed. Actually, their very first funding was given to them from the United Way of Douglas County for a scholarship for about $4,000 way back, many years ago. And since that time, DCCDA has been the hub, the heart of services for Douglas County. They provide educational opportunities for home providers, for teachers. They host a mini conference to continue that growing of our field. They are an agency that provides scholarships to families who might need a little assistance for child care support. They have been very collaborative with us as a school district and other early childhood programs. Over the last 10 years, Lawrence Public Schools has received over $1 million in collaborative funds that have come through Douglas County Child Care Association. And in addition to that, over $1 million, I think it's like $1,200,000 and something, but over $1 million. We've also received about $700,000 in another initiative that Anna and her agency have facilitated. That's a lot of money to be collaboratively. That just counts what we've received. That doesn't count what Head Start and what other agencies who cooperate and collaborate with us. Linda from the Art Center and Carolyn from Head Start and CLC, Children's Learning Center, Baldwin Elementary, also part of our county initiative. We have a mobile resource team, mental health providers that are housed with DCCDA to go into home communities and our school districts to support staff who are working with children who have some social, emotional, mental needs. I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch, but think about it, 47 years that it started off as an infancy to provide an organization that could be the hub of our community to support what we do in early childhood and how those of us who are in the field look to and tap into daily into the Douglas County Child Care Association. So Linda, it is Linda. I've got Linda on my mind. I've got Linda on my mind over there, and I'm surprised I didn't call you Becky because I saw Becky. Anna, my friend. Thank you so much for your leadership in the Douglas County Child Care Association and all the things that you do to bring us as an early childhood community together, to be about a community who cares about young children, not separating our work, but joining our work together. Because together, I think Dina talked about the thread. When that thread is woven together, it's a strong piece of cloth, and that's what we are with your pulse. So thank you very much.
On behalf of the foundation, we have yet another plaque we're not giving you. It didn't have a pretty picture, but you do have August Company on it. The original recipient was Mr. Dan himself, and Chris won it in 2013, so there's quite a group of people here. Hank won it in 2000, Hank Booth back here won it in 2008, so this is quite a group, and we are honored to have you to join this. We will put this on the wall of honor as well. This is a plaque that you all get to keep. But again, as I can't really add what Chris said, but thank you is the best thing I can say.
I'm not much of a speech giver, so I really appreciate this honor. It's a joy to be recognized by a program that I so highly esteem. I couldn't do it without my staff. My staff is here today to support me. They're the ones that are out there every day doing the real work. I just sit in the office and, play with numbers and, kind of weird stuff that nobody else understands. But you know, our history is serving the public, bringing groups together. You know, a great joy has been the pre-K program that we have been able to facilitate. And I don't want to say, but what we do is all for the benefit of the young children in our community. We want to make sure that every one of them have a brighter future. Thank you.
This concludes our ceremony, our 20th year celebration. Again, on behalf of the early childhood community here at Kennedy and throughout our community, thank you very much for being here to witness this very special moment. Please come stay and mingle with us. I'd love for you to take a look at the $92 million bond that was passed a few years ago. We didn't get it all here at Kennedy, but we did get a substantial portion. We have a brand new addition behind you, and then as we go towards the older part of the building, you will be very well pleased to see the beautiful, beautiful early childhood kindergarten spaces that we created for our youngest of learners. So there's refreshments. We'll get a chance to mingle with each other and celebrate this morning. We'll kind of get Mr. Dan situated back over that way, but please do. Our teachers have put together some posters to kind of to show the story of our program. So thank you again for coming. And without any further, let's head down and